How many of you have heard of the movie, How to Lose a Guy in 30 Days? Well, I'm here with another movie title, How to Lose Trust in 30 Seconds or 30 Days. Now let's break down the word trust. First of all, T stands for time. You might be that sales manager that is always overscheduled. You've always been overcommitted. And as a result, you show up to every meeting late, but you're armed with good excuses and reasons. Now, it decreases trust because, well, you're creating something called dissonance. You tell your reps to be on time for their meetings, yet you're never on time for your meetings. So as a result, you are always in a rush. Now, I can always tell a rushed conversation. In fact, I look at the invite, and when I see an invite that says 25 minutes, that tells me this is probably going to be a transactional conversation rather than a deep conversation. Because the reality is, when you're having a conversation with somebody, sometimes it will go deep, but if you haven't allowed enough time for it to go deep, well, it's because you're in a rush and you're overscheduled and you didn't schedule enough time. Now, in that same environment, you also lack understanding. You could replace this word for empathy, because if you're rushed, you're overscheduled, well, when you meet with a person, you're mentally racing to your next meeting. And so you're not really 100% present. So you miss the nonverbal cues, the very cues that allow you to emotionally tune in to what your salesperson is thinking or feeling. And when a person doesn't feel like they're heard, understood, well, trust is decreased. Now, here's what also happens. You get sloppy. Yep, when you're overcommitted, you're always in a rush, in a hurry, you start taking shortcuts. And those shortcuts may involve, well, you don't take enough time for pre-call planning, for one-on-one coaching sessions, or your group sales meetings. And the result is turnover. Because I have yet to find a person that wants to work in an environment where they don't feel valued, they don't feel heard, they don't feel understood, and in fact, they're not growing because, well, the conversations never go deep enough, there isn't enough time for learning, and top performers always go to cultures where they continue to learn. As I like to say, learners are earners. So sales managers, if you want to decrease trust, just do everything I just explained.